Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Plunder Patrol Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for May 2024. This is one of the decks that got, I would say, the most requests from my recent poll video, seeing what decks you wanted to see updated on the channel. And this is definitely one of the more overlooked decks, with the Plunder Patrol being a deck that focuses on being able to set up and equip many of your different Plunder Patrol monsters, and you can use the variety of the extra deck monsters we have for the Plunder Patrols to set up some more monster swarming or disruption plays against your opponent. We have the Link monster, the Fusion, 2 Synchro monsters, Xyz, you name it, a good variety of Plunder Patrol cards to use and, execute for the different plays in the extra deck. So I'm very happy with the results. I wanted to, as always, go for more of a pure variant with the Plunder Patrol monsters. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Plunder Patrol monsters, we're running 3 copies of Redbeard, the Plunder Patrol Matey. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck with the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. If you do, equip this card you control to it. If this card is sent from the hand or monster zone to the graveyard, you can target 1 Plunder Patrol monster you control, except for Redbeard, the Plunder Patrol Matey, and equip this card to it. You can only use each effect of Redbeard once per turn. So it's that equip effect and setup that you're meant to utilize, with Redbeard being able to also set up the variety of equips with your Plunder Patrol extra deck monsters, since we have a wide variety of them, including water with Blackbeard, fire with Brawn, and then earth with Jord, dark with Mork, and then also the light with Liss. You have a good variety of the extra deck monsters for your Plunder Patrol to make use of for the equip play using your opponent's cards that your opponent's monsters might control, and then just being able to summon out that Plunder Patrol monster with the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls, and then equip this card onto it also. I have 2 copies of Whitebeard, the Plunder Patrol Helm. I was thinking of running 3, but I've been mixing back and forth between the number of Redbeard and Whitebeard that I run. So if you wanted to run 3 Whitebeard, you could just drop down the number of Redbeard you run to 2. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck with the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard, and then equip this card you control to it. If this card is sent from the hand or monster zone to the graveyard, you can activate this effect to special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your deck, except for a Whitebeard, the Patrol Helm. So this one gives you more of a setup for the Plunder Patrol cards that are in your deck to be able to summon out. And then also with this card, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except for Plunder Patrol monsters, which isn't really a lockdown for your deck, since the wide variety and majority of the cards in our extra deck are Plunder Patrol. Also 3 copies of our Golden Hair, the newest Plunder Patrol. Another good setup card. You can send 1 other Plunder Patrol monster from your hand or face up on the field of the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. So it just has to be 1 from your hand or face up on the field. So then also monster card, meaning it can be in the equip option as a spell and trap, since it just says monster card, not a monster you control. So then you can send it, special summon out your Golden Hair onto the field, and then if it's in your graveyard, you can discard 1 card to special summon this card, but you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except for Plunder Patrol monsters. So regardless of where this card is, you just have more and more special summoning setup using this card and then your Plunder Patrol resources. Also 2 copies of Bluebeard, the Plunder Patrol Shipwright. If you control a Plunder Patrol monster except Bluebeard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If it's sent to the graveyard or a monster zone to the graveyard, you can discard 1 card to draw 1 card. So it's just draw power, discarding and drawing, having another special summon resource from your hand to be able to get onto the field as well. That's just another resource, whether it be for your Xyz plays, your Fusion plays, or your Xyz plays. With the last of our Plunder Patrol monsters being the 3 copies of Black Eyes, the Plunder Patrol Sea Guide. You can target 1 Plunder Patrol monster in your graveyard except for Black Eyes, the Plunder Patrol Sea Guide, to special summon this card from your hand. If you do, add that monster to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except for Plunder Patrol monsters. If it's sent from the hand or monster zone to the graveyard, you can target 1 Plunder Patrol monster in your spell and trap card zone and special summon it. So a lot of the resource setup can help when we set up our Link monsters in the form of Link monsters like Almirage, since it just has to be sent to the graveyard as well. So a normal summon of cards like Sea Guide or our Golden Hair or even our Redbeard can then just be linked off with Almirage to start a wide variety of our plays. and 3 copies of Ash Blossom and 2 copies of Effect Veiler for just some of the added extra hand trap options in the deck as well. The big part of the Plunder Patrol engine is just being able to utilize the few monsters you may have in your hand for your extra deck play, and then a good variety of the other cards in the deck can be taken up by hand traps to disrupt your opponent's plays. For the spells, running 3 copies of Plunder Patrol Shipyard. Plunder Patrol monsters you control gain 500 attack for each Plunder Patrol card in your spell and trap card zone. You can only use each of the following effects of Shipyard once per turn. You can discard 1 card to add 1 Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand, except for Shipyard. If it's in your graveyard, you can target a Plunder Patrol card in your spell and trap card zone, set this card, and return that target to the hand. So recycle power to always get your field spell back onto the field, being able to also just have more of the option to add a Plunder Patrol card while setting up other ones in our graveyard that can then be summoned back onto the field. Also 3 copies of Emblem of the Plunder Patrol. An equip spell, equip only to a Plunder Patrol monster. It gains 500 attack. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. You can send this card equipped to the graveyard to special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck with the same attribute as a monster on the field or in the graveyard, even including your field, which is useful. Then take control of that monster that was equipped with this card, and then special summon monsters equipped with this spell gain the effect of gaining 500 attack. You can only use this effect of Emblem of the Plunder Patrol once per turn. So more of a special summon resource, but also just more of a power boost for your Plunder Patrol cards on the field as well. Being able to send this card to special summon 1 from your extra deck with that same attribute as the monster on the field. Once again, making use of the many different ones that your opponent may have. Now, the Shipping Ship Fusion spell is one of these supers I sadly did not have for the deck. I have Super Polymerization in here just as a placeholder for you to be able to go into your Plunder Patrol Ship lease. Now, if you have, Polymerization or something generic, if you don't have the Shipping Ship spell card, you can always put that in as this spot for the Fusion spell also. And then 2 copies of Pot of Prosperity, just making small use of some of your extra deck. We do have multiples for a good variety of the Plunder Patrol cards in the extra deck, so being able to banish them just to grab a proper card with Pot of Prosperity. And also 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent for more draw power, or even being able to take our opponent's resources. 2 Cross Out Designator. This card was just in the Rarity Collection too, so a little more easier for people to get a hold of to run in the deck. And we do run a variety of cards that you can just banish off of your own to stop your opponent from using also, whether it be your spells, traps, or even some of the hand traps you run. And then lastly for the spells, 1 copy of Terraforming and the 1 copy of Call by the Grave, with our traps consisting of 1 copy of Plunder Patrol Booty and 1 Plunder Patrol Party, having draw power with Party, and then just being able to declare an attribute, then target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and it becomes that attribute to adjust those cards with Plunder Patrol Booty as a continuous trap on the field also, with the last of our traps being 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence as just another hand trap to be a target if need be with Crossout Designator, or just to have with some of the numbers we run with Ash Blossom and Joy Spring also. For the extra deck, the only Plunder Patrol monster in the extra deck we run of a 3F copy is our Link monster, Blackbeard, the Plunder Patrol Captain. 2 monsters, including a Plunder Patrol monster. Quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster you control, special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck with the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls, or is in their graveyard, and equip that target to it, then draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Blackbeard once per turn, so having the equip option, draw power, and then just being able to grab you another resource equipped onto one of your cards using your Plunder Patrol monsters is a big plus with this easy to make Link 2 monster. I run the 1 copy of Almirage as just being once again another starter for our Plunder Patrol monsters we just may want to normal summon out in the field, and the 1 Nightmare Unicorn as just another resource to use with some of our Link 2 crawling that we can do, and then summon out in the field, setting up cards in the graveyard while also being able to shuffle back our opponent's cards. The Synchro monsters consist of 2 Plunder Patrol Ship Brawn. The Plunder Patrol ships also have different effects while equipped. All other fiend monsters you control gain 500 attack. You can discard 1 Plunder Patrol card to target a spell and trap your opponent controls and banish it, and you can add 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your deck to your hand. And if this card is equipped to a Plunder Patrol card, you can only use this effect of Brawn once per turn. So with this card being a quick effect as the equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, being able to equip 1 onto this card makes it a quick effect to then just disrupt your opponent's spell and trap plays. Also 2 copies of Plunder Patrol Ship Jord. If your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, and just so you all know as well, the golden hair is the tuner in in our deck to go into these synchros along with Whitebeard as well. If your opponent special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can add one Plunder Patrol ship card from your deck to your hand. And then also, if this card is equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, you can special summon one Plunder Patrol monster from your deck, giving you more resources for this level 8 monster to be able to summon back out onto the field also. The 2 copies of Plunder Patrol ship work as more of the option for being able to use this card to target effect monsters your opponent control and banish them, while the other synchro, focused on the spell and traps. And the 1 Bahamut Shark and the 1 Totally Awesome, since our main deck Plunder Patrol monsters are water, making the overlay into 2 level 4 waters for Bahamut Shark quite easy, and then just being able to summon off Totally Awesome because of it. And then for the fusion monsters, 2 copies of Plunder Patrol ship Lease as our fusion play, being able to special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from your hand or face up in the spell and trap card zone. And when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can discard 1 Plunder Patrol card to negate the activation and destroy it. So the monster effect negation thanks to our fusion, while the Xyz took care of the banish of the effect monsters and the synchro of the banish of our opponent's spell and traps. All disruptive plays that you can do with the many Plunder Patrol ship extra deck cards. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as I said before, set up with our Plunder Patrol cards and then being able to make use of the Plunder Patrol cards we run just to go for the link plays give us a lot of that setup that I mentioned before, as well as the opponent's monsters that they may have on the field as well work to, us summoning out one of these specific resources that may want in the deck to use, and then thus giving us those cards as equip plays to use for more and more cards as well, whether it be summoning out Golden Hair by sending the Plunder Patrol ship resource from the field to the graveyard, or just being able to use face up on the field to special summon this card from your hand, and then also being able to set up more cards in our graveyard that can be the resource needed, summoning out Golden Hair. Then we have our normal summon or special summon depending of our Plunder Patrol card from our hand. On the field we have our Xyz play, our Synchro play, you name it, you have all of these options as well for these monsters in the deck. And then also if it's sent from the hand or monster zone to the graveyard, you have draw power if you use cards like Bluebeard. It all depends on the resource you want to go into. You have Fusion if you have your spell, Xyz if you have the 2 monsters, Synchro if one of them is a tuner. The Link play, I would say, is one of your best plays to start off your summons, because then you can target effect monster you control, special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck with the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard. And then also with that play, equip that target, then draw 1 card. So then, depending on what your opponent's attribute is, you can equip it onto that Plunder Patrol card, draw 1 card, either extending your resources or giving you additional hand traps to then use against your opponent as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, just one of the decks that was more requested as an update and wanted to stick to as pure of a deck profile I can. I know some people have mixed in Runics or adventure packages with their Plunder Patrol cards. If you'd like to see variants of that deck as well, please let me do down in the comments below. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.